Well, today we have one of the newer members to the Missouri Valley Conference and the Belmont head coach, Laura Matthews. And as always, In the Circle is brought to you by Rawlings. Rawlings is the official softball of the Missouri Valley Conference, as well as the NCAA championships. Rawlings is the mark of a pro. And Coach, welcome in. How's the transition been going from the OVC to the Missouri Valley Conference?
Thank you. It's been good. We have parkas now, so we are staying warm. That is something that we're working on, and but everything's been great so far.
So normally you guys take trips, non-conference games down south, I'm assuming out west to where it's a little bit warmer, but you guys get to spring a little bit sooner than a lot of the Midwest teams in the Valley. So that probably has been a transition for you and your players to get adjusted to some of the cold weather.
Yeah, I think some of the logistics so far has been maybe the biggest difference between the Missouri Valley and the OVC. I mean, a lot of the OVC schools were very, very close by. You know, we have one here in Nashville, a couple others within just an hour or two. So I think the travel is a little bit more extensive for us. And then a little bit chillier. So those are the two things. And then I think we're also experiencing the difference that, all the other schools are with playing single game Friday, single game Saturday, single game Sunday, and how that works. I know a lot of us have played some double headers and things like that so far with weather. But I think that's really interesting to watch how people manage their pitching staffs and rosters. So that part's really fun to see as well.
Yeah, that's just a new change for the Valley as well, going to that single game. So pretty much all the coaches are adjusting to that schedule. And I think it's and a lot of the coaches we've talked to have said that it's nice because you do have the flexibility that you can get the doubleheader in that you guys had to do against Southern Illinois. I think the other day you played a doubleheader and quite a finish to that series. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Illinois is obviously a great program, having a really good year, historically great also. So, they're a tough team to play 3 games against. And, we battled in 3 really close games. And I think, it just is a good introduction, although we've played 2 really competitive weekends so far in the Valley. So every game that we've played, all 6 of them have just been really, there haven't been any blowouts. It's just been back and forth. So that's what I heard Valley life was going to be like, and that is certainly held true so far.
Yeah, and exciting finish to that. It was a walk-off home run, if I read things correctly. Kind of a fun finish to that 3-game series.
Yeah, I mean, we had gone back and forth in that game. I think we got out to an early lead. They tied it up. We pulled ahead. They tied it up again in the top of the 7th. And so Emily Cockrell came up to the plate to lead off the 7th and got a pitch she could do something with and was able to take it out. So that was a fun way to cap off the series.
So you have somebody else in the lineup, Kristen Green, who is off to a great start in the Valley. I mean, she's hitting around 470, 478, several home runs, a little power surge for her. Talk about what makes her so good at the plate.
Yeah, Kristen is a really, really interesting story in general. Her first year was that COVID 2020 year. Or I'm sorry, the COVID 2020 year. So, and then the following year she tore her ACL. So really last year she was the newcomer of the year in the OVC, despite being a junior academically. She graduated in December. So she's a grad student who's in her, I guess, technically sophomore year of eligibility. So while she's not, doesn't have a whole lot of games under her belt in her career, she's a vet for us. And so her presence in our lineup, just the competitive at bats, the mentality that she has, and nobody works harder than she does. So I think, she's been able to really get us going in a lot of ways with her bat, giving us some big moments and just really steady force in our lineup for us.
She certainly seems to like Valley pitching so far. So, looking at your stats, looks like you have a little power, a little speed. What should we expect when we come to the softball diamond to out of your team when we watch you play?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really kept us going this year, we've had a couple really big injuries in our offense. Grace Gressley and Emma Barnes both went down a couple weekends into the season, and they were hitting leadoff and in the 3 or 4 spot for us. So that was a tough transition for us. And so we've had to, fill that void without trying to do too much offensively. And I think the thing that's really kind of kept us going as we've worked through that transition is our pitching staff. All three of our pitchers who are throwing for us have just been really competitive, have kept every game close, have, stepped up in different ways. And so we've played a lot of close games this year. I think that's one of the things as you go through our schedule. I mean, we've played 1-run, 2-run games, a bunch of extra inning games. And so we've been really tested in those high pressure innings. I think you learn a lot about yourself and your pitching staff. So, our bats are starting to get going a little bit again. I think everybody on our team would say that our offense isn't quite living up to what we know we're capable of, but we're starting to find our stride a little bit. And hopefully we're able to get it going a little bit more over the next couple of weeks.
Give us a little of your background. I know you played in college, and then talk a little bit about some of your coaching stops along the way, but kind of give us a little history of you.
Yeah. So I'm a Nashville native. I grew up here and went up to the Midwest to the University of Dayton to play. And then after college, I was a Division III assistant coach for 4 years at Lake Forest College in the Chicago area. And I got my first head coaching job at Wittenberg University, a Division III school in Ohio. I was there for 5 years and then had the opportunity to take over Wright State University, their program, Division I program just outside of Dayton. Mm-hmm. In 2020, when COVID hit, the university at Wright State decided to cancel the program. And so our players, our coaching staff, our lives were upended. I was given the opportunity a few months later, though, to take over this program. So God definitely blessed me with a great opportunity to take over here, return home, and take over at a school that I just believe in. I believe in our athletic department. I believe in our university, and I get to coach the best kids in the world. So God was definitely looking out for me and took care of me. And, I couldn't be more pumped to be at Belmont.
It always works out for a reason, I always believe. And, you were a catcher, right, when you played in college?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So my question is, we have several pitchers, former pitchers that are coaches in the league. So from a catcher's perspective, they coach the game, a lot of them from the pitcher's perspective. So do you have a different mindset, a different outlook when you're looking at it from that catching experience that you've had?
Well, so I actually work with our pitching staff also. So I've sort of become a pitcher in my brain without the ability to actually pitch. So I do think I come from a lot of a background where I understand that part of the game at a high level. And I understand that, that's going to kind of set the tone for your team. But I've got an incredible staff who leads us in, with our hitting, with our infield, with our outfield, base running, things like that. And so I think it might give me a little bit different perspective because I have been a hitter. I've been I've been around pitchers a long time. So I've got a diversity of experience, but the smartest thing that you can do as a coach is surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. And that's what I've done the best thus far.
that always is a plus to have a good staff around you. So, well, Coach, hey, thanks for taking the time today, and looking forward to meeting you in person and seeing your team play. And hopefully we'll cross paths here very soon. If not, we'll see you at the conference tournament. So good luck in the Valley up until we see you.
Thank you so much. I love what you do for our game and what you're doing for softball in our conference. So we appreciate you.
Thanks.